Welcome to Couples Academy Live. Today we're talking about 10 questions you should ask your spouse now. Join us.
It's good to see you all. Welcome. This is Couples Academy Live. My name is Sassani,
I'm Danielle.
and we are here for another great morning to talk and have another great conversation with you. We're talking about the 10 questions that you should be asking your spouse. Now, listen, we were just talking about where we want to be 20 years from now. Like, what type of relationship do we want to have? And we started fast forwarding, saying, man, we've reached middle age.
Don't call me middle
It's
age.
middle. Danielle, how old are you?
None yet.
You in the middle of your age. You got
You don't know.
you got less years
You
ahead
don't know
of
how
you than
long
you have
God
behind you.
intends for me to live.
Well-
I don't agree.
Well, what's an ever?
Okay.
We are in our middle age years, in our 40s, and if we had 40 more years, what would we want for our lives? And we were looking at this image of this couple here, and this is an older couple. We call this old love. Right here they are, smiling at each other, drinking coffee.
love that.
Kind of closed in to one another.
It looks like, she's whispering something funny in his ear, which is something that I would do.
That
And
is
he's
something you would
cracking
do.
up, laughing. She's elbowing him, right? 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 And
Did you
so-
put your teeth in? Did you put your teeth in
Right?
before you drank coffee?
He's like, yes, I got my teeth in, Mildred. But you know what?
Mildred. That is, yeah, that's
Right.
that fits.
But I love it because I dream of that. It's my goal to grow old with Hassani and, see our grandchildren and our great grandchildren and just be still connected, still in love, still caring, and all those things. That's the vision for this marriage.
That is the vision.
Yeah.
But the question is, how do we go from here to there? Someone once said that the secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. So we can have great goals and aspirations and ideas for what we want with our lives, but what are we doing today to ensure that we're getting closer to that goal tomorrow? So what are your daily habits? And so we were talking about, okay, well, if we want this amazing relationship and we want to be in love and we want all these different things, what type of conversations do we need to have in order to prepare ourselves and build the right foundation for this future?
I mean, the point is that we have to be communicating.
Right.
So let's start there. That we actually have to have these kinds of conversations and talk about what we want our future to look like. And here's some of the questions that we need to begin to ask each other so that we could get there. You can't create a plan without having these conversations and dialoguing and actually dreaming and envisioning. Just like you've dreamed about everything else to bring it into your existence, you have to first conceive it in your thoughts, right? And then you begin to pursue it and you take reasonable action towards it, right? So we have these amazing questions that could just open up dialogue for dreaming and envisioning and really getting an understanding about where we are on the course.
Yeah.
Right? If we have no idea where we are on the map right now, it's hard for us to kind of course correct and get ourselves to where we need to go. So.
And as we go through these questions, we want you to write them down. So grab some notes, grab a pen, grab your phone, whatever device you have, and write these down because these are questions we want you to engage in when you sit down with your spouse. Because we know many of you are watching these videos together and you're taking notes and you're trying to figure out, okay, how can we make this work within our relationship? Well, here's some great questions to start off with. So the first question we have, and this is really, I think it's important, if you want to have a happy relationship, you have to do an assessment of where you currently are.
Yeah.
So one of those questions can be, how am I doing as a husband or how am I doing as a spouse in general?
Or a wife.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Husband
Yeah.
or wife
Yeah.
in general. Yes. How am I doing? So it's almost like on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate me as a husband or as a wife? And guess what? Give a number. And oftentimes there's a story behind the number. and give your spouse permission to unpack it without you getting offended, without you listening with emotional ears, without you picking what your partner is saying apart. Like, first of all, whoever's communicating the message, try to do it in a loving way. You're not on the attack. You're not here to get into an argument. You're not involved in bickering and having this low intensity warfare, but you want a safe environment where you can share.
Yeah. I mean, set the stage for this conversation, you know? This could be a great time to connect and bond. This is a talk I would have on date night. You know, we would go out and go to dinner, and over sushi, we have these questions and we just discuss this. So it's not going to be a moment where you are like antagonizing, like, you know, how do you think I'm doing as a wife? You know, you know, it's like, God, let's get connected. Let's make this date meaningful. Let's come out of this and walk away with something. So set the stage for this conversation, and then just have an open dialogue about what we could do to be better. It's all about your mindset when you walk into a conversation like this. If you're walking into the conversation with bet, this is an opportunity for me to let them know how I truly feel, and you're really trying to come for them, then your conversation's going to go south, right?
There it is.
But if you have the right mindset and an open mind to do better, things can go well.
So another quick thing, whenever you're having this conversation, I always bring up the fact that you should record it. Grab your phone. You have a recording device in here, because you're going to hear some amazing things. You're going to hear some very specific and detailed things. And if you're on a date night, it's not like you're going into a class with a notebook and pen. So record the conversation, because you can always listen to it later, unpack it, take notes, and begin to work on the things that you discuss in that conversation.
Absolutely.
Second question is, what are you most excited about in our relationship during this season? Now, here we are. We're in a corona season. It is a pandemic. Things are changing around the world, and a lot of people are struggling with anxiety and depression and restlessness, and there's so many things that we could talk about that aren't good or aren't going well. But we do see that what this has forced us to do is to be in a home together for long periods of time, less distractions, less activities. What's exciting about this season? How have we pivoted? How have we enhanced certain things? So looking at it through a particular lens of positivity could be a very, very good thing.
I agree. I mean, this has been a challenging year for many, but I haven't spoken to one person that hasn't said, I found so many good things about this year. Like, yes, it's been challenging. It's been a lot of devastation, but on the flip side of it, I mean, I've grown closer to my husband. I've learned about my children. I've, you know, become more of a solid foundation in my family. So I think that in every situation you can look at the positive if you're looking for the positive.
You know what? Let me just jump in, because Steven Johnson made a great comment. He says, unfortunately, I, as the infidel, feel that when I express how I feel, but that way I feel is used as ammo. Okay, I think I hear the heart of what you're saying. So going back to the original question, how am I doing as a spouse in general? So if you are the offender, you're the one who betrayed your partner in whatever way. It's not just infidelity. Your spouse may have a tendency to look through a particular lens, and everything you do is wicked and evil, and you're the devil, and this, that, and the other. And so I think it's important to be able to separate the offense from how they're currently showing up. We kind of look at our spouse through the lenses of their past mistakes and their past tribulations and their past sins, rather than looking at how they may be showing up currently. So I think what happens is, if everything I'm doing is wrong, if I'm never doing anything right, if everything I do is just not valued, it's very demotivating. And what it does is, the willingness and the drive and the tenacity and the stick-to-itivism that one should have to continue to do the right thing, they feel deflated. So you want to be able to really address those past issues, but also acknowledge what they are doing right, if they are doing something right. Now, on the flip side, if you are the one who offended your spouse or betrayed your spouse, and now you have to answer that question, you know, how are they doing as a spouse? Well, once again, they may be. It's a difficult conversation for some to have. I mean, that can open up a whole can of worms if you really think about it. But I think you want to, in addition, listen, you've spent so much time hearing about everything that's wrong. Here's an opportunity to identify the things that are right. So it's being intentional to point out the things that are that are going well so that you can do more of those things. We talk about this, and you can jump in. There's two things you got to focus on. Number one, focus on the right thing to do. Focus on doing all the right things. And number two, focus on no longer doing the wrong things. Those are two different things. One of them requires self-discipline. One of them requires self-control. Self-control is keeping you from doing bad things. Self-discipline is allowing you to continue to do the right things. And when you're focusing on that in terms of how you're showing up as a spouse, that's more of a balanced approach.
I agree. I would also add that there's nothing wrong with anybody, whatever your circumstances is, because I heard the offender, depending on what's going on in your relationship, there's always going to be an offender or an offended. So I think it still plays a role that even if you have some egregious offense with your spouse and you're trying to work it out, say it is infidelity, all the more you need to use questions like this to check in with how you're doing, right? Because you have new rules if you have cheated on your spouse. There are new rules, right? So how am I doing as a husband and a wife with the new rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just place the questions within the confines of your particular situation, right? Not everybody is experiencing infidelity, okay? Some people are just dealing with trust issues or lying or, someone can't keep a job or whatever. People are dealing with all kinds of stuff in their relationship. Everybody is. And so I think for whatever your situation is, if you are actually actively working towards repairing whatever is wrong, then these questions can play a role. However, that ammo thing is real.
It is real.
And we find that folks are always some folks will listen to our show to use it as ammo.
They certainly
will.
will.
Hassani and Danielle said,
boom, 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 boom.
Hassani and Danielle said,
shots fired.
And it's just like, please don't use what we're saying as ammo. Please look at yourself and fit yourself in the circle here and find out what you can be doing to correct your ways instead of listening to it to gain your ammo and your bullets to fire at your spouse.
That's right.
Because we're talking to you and your spouse, not just your spouse who has done something that you think was offensive.
Kathy had said something powerful. For a long time, I felt like he had no right to feel any kind of way. When I finally felt his internal pain, it changed everything. Mm-hmm. And I think that's critically important. A lot of times, if we're dealing with somebody who's hurt us, they don't have a right to feel hurt. What you hurt about? I'm the one who's hurt. You're the one who did the harm to me. How dare you tell me what you're going through? It's not validated. It's not acknowledged. It's not honored. But you have to realize that both of you are hurting in two different ways for possibly two different reasons.
Yeah.
And when you understand, when you take the time to understand and empathize with what your partner's going through, it does begin to shift and change things. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next question. If you could see two things change about me, what would they be? That's a very good question.
That is a good question.
Right?
Huh.
What would I want to change about, if I had the ability to wave a magic wand and say, mega like a high, mega hiney ho, boom. What would I want changed about my spouse? And I think it's important that you have that conversation. And once again, it's all about how you communicate it. You can't come in a demonstrative, antagonistic, finger-pointing, accusatory, just negative, mean, spiteful, bitter way. It's just not going to go well. Your approach to these questions means everything. Right? So that's a great question. All right, question number 4. I hope this is helping, and I hope you're writing this down. What ways can I honor you more? Now, we talked about love. We've been in this love series, and we talked about all the things we need to do in terms of how to love our spouse and how to show up. Honor is one of those key elements that make a relationship really work. Like, think about it. If the president of the United States walks through the door, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, if it's Trump, if it's Obama, whoever it is, whoever you subscribe to, whoever you respect, if they were to walk through the door, you'd be like, oh my God, the president. You would stand at attention. Yes, sir. You would have such honor and respect for that person who you value and who you esteem, right? But yet your spouse, you dishonor.
Right.
You take for granted. You don't value.
Right.
And if you have issues with your spouse, you should have a level of respect and honor for the seat that your spouse is in. Mm-hmm. They are your spouse. They are the mother or father of your children. So there's a level of respect that they give just because of the position that they hold. Right. And when we learn to bring honor back into the relationship, things change.
It's actually insulting to watch your spouse show so much respect and regard for others, and then you don't feel like you're getting it. It's almost like they've played it like they don't know how to do it, so you've kind of maybe given them a pass, like, well, they just don't know any better. But then when you see them exhibit that to someone else, you're like, hold on, so I'm in second chair. So I love what Hassani said. The spouse is the primary person. That's the one who should be the queen or the king on the throne. It shouldn't be someone else coming in and getting all the honor. Not to say that they can't express honor outwardly, but I should know my place, right? Hassani should know his place, and it should be first place.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So, all right, let's go to the next question. What are your biggest fears? This is question number 5. What are your biggest fears about our relationship?
Ooh,
that's a very
that's
good
a good
question.
Yeah.
Because we talk about 2 types of dialogue. There's a dialogue that we have with each other, but then there's an internal dialogue. So I may be saying one thing outwardly to my spouse, but I may be feeling some type of way internally. I can have anxieties, I can have fears, I can have trepidations. Maybe I fear you hurting me again. Maybe I fear you not trusting me anymore. Maybe I fear we're just going to remain in a bad place for the rest of our marriage. Maybe I fear divorce. There's so many fears that we have. And we know that fear, a lot of times, is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. And our perception is our reality. And sometimes it's great to have conversations with our spouse so that we can see where they are at, to see if how we feel is legitimate or if it's not legitimate.
Right. What if I'm fearing, a relapse or a reoccurrence of past hurts? That's a great opportunity for someone to jump in there, for the spouse to say, no, let me tell you all the ways that I can prove to you that this is not going to happen. I think we get so offended that we can't even have these conversations. Like, we get so offended that it's hard to be honest. This is the opportunity for you to come to the rescue. If your spouse is feeling fears about past hurts, say something. Say something that'll let them know this will never happen again. Don't just get mad about the fact that they have a fear about something that you've done in the past.
Right. Well, these are great questions, and I hope you're writing these down. We just covered the first 5. We're going to cover 5 more as soon as we come back from this quick commercial break.
There is an epidemic in our world today concerning marriage. It's not divorce, although that's bad. It's not infidelity, although it's on the rise. The epidemic we are talking about regarding marriage is ignorance. Millions of people are getting married each year, and they have no idea what to do to make the marriage flourish and grow. And we know that God has a place in our marriage, but what does that look like? Whether you've been married for a day, a year, or decades, be assured that there is hope and help for you today that will turn your marriage in the right direction. These well-known relationship experts and authors have devoted their lives to helping couples not only survive the rough patches, but thrive and bloom into something more beautiful than before. You're invited to call now for their book, The Audacity of Marriage, and learn how to overcome common challenges couples face. You'll also receive the DVD series titled The Before, During, and After of an Affair. 3 crucial messages on one DVD dealing with the topic of infidelity and how to prevent it. In addition, you and your spouse will also enjoy individual DVD messages by Hassani and his wife, Danielle. The Marriage Mastermind, The Power of Partnership, teaches how to use the law of agreement to manifest God's best in your life. And Copreneurship, Partnering in Passion and Profit, explores the issues of couples working together at home and work successfully. All of this for a love gift of only $59.99. But that's not all. Hassani and Danielle would like to personally invite you to join them at one of their many nationwide Audacity of Marriage conferences. When you call right now, you will receive 2 tickets valued at $200 each, free. Remember, in almost every marriage, there is a partner suffering from ignorance, and your gift of this book may be just what they need to save their relationship. Call now and get back to the joy of your marriage together. Operators are standing by.
Well, welcome back. If you're just now joining us, this is Couples Academy Live with Asani and Danielle. We've been in a great conversation. We've been talking about the 10 questions that you should ask your spouse, and it's generating some great conversations.
Yes.
But we just want to say good morning to all of you who have tuned in. So to Stephen, to Angel, to Latasha, to Kathy, we have Sarah Ward, we have Ken Thomas. There's so many people
Hey, Tanya.
who are actually, Tanya, good to see you this morning. So many people who are coming in and
Gwendolyn.
leaving some great comments. One of the questions that came in from Linda was, do you recommend these questions in one sit down? I think that's a great question.
That's a great question.
What I would personally say is, wherever the question goes, like one question could wind up being a 35-minute conversation.
Right.
You know, I think that when you're having dialogue, you should limit it to about an hour, because that seems to be a healthy space. People's eyes start to cross and they start getting tired, or they lose their energy. Some people can't withstand long 3-hour conversations.
Very
and I
true.
think time and place is also important. We were talking about earlier, it could be a great date night conversation. And here's what I would do. If you're in a good place, you can have some of these challenging questions if you're in a good place on a date. If you're not necessarily in a good place, you may want to reserve some of these questions for your work day. As you know, we talk about your work day and your play day. Work day is the day that you're going to work on the relationship. And you know, you don't want to be in a restaurant looking crazy and getting into fussing and fighting and art. So I think you need to assess the question and figure out what's most appropriate for you, limit it to an hour, record the conversation, and see where it goes. So if you get 5 questions done in an hour, if you
Great.
get 10,
Yeah, it's about the results.
Yeah.
You know, you want answers to these questions. You want to write these down. And these are things you want to move towards. You're going to work towards the answers. So if I find out some things about myself, I'm not going to just put that on the shelf. I'm going to be active and moving forward. So if the only thing you can handle is one, if it takes you 45 to
Sometimes
50,
we'll do that.
50 minutes to get through one, and you can add that one action to your day, perfect.
Absolutely. Kathy said a great point. She said, even if you can't trust your spouse, trust the process of recovery.
You better go, Kathy.
You know what? That's absolutely
You better
right.
go ahead. Yeah.
Because a lot of people really struggle with trust, and
Yes.
so they want to give up, throw in the towel, call it quits, or just remain in a stuck situation in their marriage, and they don't trust anything. And that's true. When you don't trust your partner, trust the process that we take you through, because trust will be developed, healing will come, restoration will come in that process. And for those of you who are going through, you need to figure out what that process is. And the way that you do that is simply by going to our website, couplesacademy.org, so that you can find out more information about how we can help you. We have weekly sessions, we do intensives, we all have all types of programs, our Moving Forward program, and a lot of other things that are coming down the pike to help you in your process. So let's jump back into these questions. I
Yeah.
think they're really good. Question number 6. As a husband or as a wife, how can I show more love and sensitivity to you? That's an important question.
I love that question, because a lot of times, you know, our husbands tend to be about the work and getting things done, and they're not necessarily thinking about little details and things that might have been insensitive to us. So that's a beautiful question to open up dialogue about things that might be missed. You know, how we interact in public might be a thing, right? Now, okay, let me just bring out a real good example. I don't like public affection, right? Some people love, I know, some people love public affection, right? They're slapping butts in public and doing all grabbing things. I'm the one that's saying, get a room, right? So that's
And I'm the one who's saying, get it, bruh, get it.
right. So those are things to talk about. Like, okay, like I need to be able to let you know my sensitivity level with that, because what is more important to you? The actual interaction, which could be done behind closed doors for me, or do you need it to be seen in public, right? So that's an example of a conversation about how I could talk to my husband and say, I need you to express more sensitivity in this area, in whatever area matters to you.
And so this is where negotiation comes in, right? So maybe
All right, once a month you can slap my butt in public.
or the type of affection,
Right.
right? So maybe holding hands is a form of affection that your partner's comfortable
Yeah.
with. Maybe a, on the lips or on the
Right.
cheek is a form of affection your
Yes.
spouse is comfortable
Right.
with. But tonguing her down,
Right. Don't do
and
that.
grabbing on her
No.
body, and all up,
But I know some of y'all out there are like, yes, tongue me down in the street, and I see it all the time. You go out and you see it all the time. But that's where you need to negotiate and
Yeah.
acknowledge there's a sensitivity there.
Absolutely.
Let me honor my spouse. So whatever that is for you guys.
Yes. All right. Here's question number 7. Question number 7. Are you dealing with anything
Kathy.
that I can help you with currently? What is Kathy saying?
Kathy said, I agree with you, Danielle. Get a room. Right.
Sometimes the public display of affection leads to the getting of a room.
That's true.
Right?
Well,
So I'm
let's
just saying.
have boundaries
I'm
on
just
it,
saying.
though. Okay.
Question number 7. Are you dealing with anything that I can help you with in your current situation? So I think that's important because here's the deal. There's a few narratives going on here. There's the story of our marriage, but then there's the story of me as an individual. So yes, collectively as a couple, we have this going on. And the concept of we, us, our, right? But then I have my own individual life, and it's me, myself, and I. And if I am personally going through something, whether it's something on my job or maybe something spiritually or something in my physical body that I'm wrestling with, or just my mind and my emotions, whatever it is, like as a partner, you are there to be a co-laborer with your spouse.
Right.
Your job is to help your partner become the best version of themselves, pull them closer to God, help them fulfill their dreams, goals, and aspirations. So you want to have a level of concern. What can I do to help you?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about me. It's not about my agenda. It's not about us, but it's about you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you show that level of care and compassion, it really helps to bring you two closer together.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm a little distracted because I'm cracking up at these comments. It says, Sarah says, I get embarrassed like everyone is looking at us, right? Steven says, you may encourage others to get a room.
Yep.
That's true, Steven.
This is true.
I don't that's what I'm saying. I acknowledge that there are some folks out there that want to do some serious public displays of affection. So if that's you, have that conversation. Make that happen. Kathy says, my luck, I would see one of my adult children while being felt up, LOL. And then Elijah says, my wife will even press my butt like horn in public. I don't know what that means, but it's interesting that we all have these different experiences. That speaks to sensitivity. That speaks to the question that Hassani just read. What can I do to make things better? We have these conversations.
Yep.
They don't have to be so serious. And you think about having this conversation with just you and your husband or your wife, and you just cracking up over stuff, right? Why do we have to be at odds about things? We should learn to be able to come to the table with conversations and have fun with it,
Yeah.
and come to resolution on it and move on.
Here's the key: fun.
Oh, like a
some of
horn,
you-
honk honk. Sorry.
Some of you are so serious. Some of you are so intense. Some of you are so stressed that you've lost the fun element. When you first got together, it was fun. It was exciting. It was pleasurable.
Yeah.
And now it's become
and lighthearted.
lighthearted.
And easy.
There it is.
Right.
Bring that back into your relationship, and sometimes creating the right environment
Yes.
will allow for that to happen.
Did you see the old couple in the beginning? How are you going to get to that stage with that old couple where they're close, they're connected, they're leaning into one another, they're touching intentionally? How are you going to get there if you don't bring back that lightheartedness, that easy going? Right? That's what we had in the beginning, and we've moved far away, and these questions are designed to bring you closer.
Yes. All right. Here's the next question. Question number 8. How can we improve our intimacy or take it to the next level? I think that's important and when we're talking intimacy, we're not just talking about sex. There are 4 components of intimacy. There's spiritual intimacy, emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy, and sexual intimacy. 4. And I think you need to assess where you are in all 4 of them. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how are we doing sexually? How are we doing emotionally? How are we doing intellectually? How are we doing spiritually? Because once you can have that conversation, now you know what you can begin to implement into that relationship.
I love it.
Like even on the spiritual piece, you know how many couples struggle to pray together? Like it's a
Yes.
very uncomfortable thing.
Right.
Because for whatever reason, maybe you just, it's
Never
a
did
private
that,
thing.
never
Never
saw
done it
that,
before, never
right.
saw it before. Like, but those are the things that really create a bond and a level of oneness in the relationship. So, important question to ask. We got 2 more questions. I hope this is helping you guys. Question number 9. What's your dream date night or weekend with me? Now, that's a
Ooh.
fun question.
Yeah.
Like, dream a little bit.
Yes, something super creative, which I'm still waiting on mine.
What are you talking about?
My dream date, where like
Okay,
I
all
get,
right,
I
yes,
like,
all
yes.
right, okay, all right,
Do you
guys.
know?
I
Do
know
you know?
I know your dream date.
Do you know?
I know your
Okay.
dream date.
So yes, have these conversations and then implement.
That's a good point. That's right. If you know your partner's dream date and it's realistic, definitely make that thing happen. I think my dream weekend, we actually accomplished that. I had been dreaming for years and years and years about Dubai. That was like the
Oh
one
yeah.
city in the world that I always wanted to go to. And like 10 years, I had visited Dubai at least 20 times in my mind. I had imagined it. I saw myself there. I studied everything about it. I knew everything that was there. But, and so one year we just decided that our theme for the year was going to be fun.
Yeah.
We just wanted to have fun in this year. And so it wasn't even planned. It was like a couple months before we went, an opportunity came and boom, and we were able to go. And it was one of the best experiences that I ever had with Danielle.
That was so cool.
And oh man, just to do that
My
again.
turn.
Now it's your turn.
My turn.
Like I said, if it's realistic, no.
My turn.
It's realistic. It's realistic. But these are the things you want to do because you're creating memories, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what this is about?
Yes. It
Creating
is.
new memories. Like even when you're celebrating holidays, birthdays, Christmas, yeah, you can get another gift. And that's great. Some of you love gifts. But think about it. You get something that's pretty and shiny and looks good and
Yeah.
feels good.
And
And
it
then
gets
a couple
old.
weeks later,
Yeah.
it's in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
But memories
It doesn't
are
take
what
away
you
from
hold.
it.
It
though,
doesn't.
but memories are.
You hold on to
yes.
those things for a long,
Yeah.
long time. So hopefully that helps. All right.
Yes.
Our last question for the morning, and I hope you've been writing these down. And if you haven't, you got to
Yes,
replay
Sonia.
it.
Yes, Sonia.
What'd she say? She said, sounds like you owe her a dream. Oh, Lord, since you had a dream
Thank you,
weekend.
everyone.
All right, all right.
Thank you.
Yes. Let's get to the last question.
turn.
Question number 10. If you had 3 wishes to wish for our future, what would they be?
Oh man.
That's powerful.
That's a great. I mean, that could go anywhere. Sky's the limit on that. You could. That could be. Future for your marriage in general. Future for your intimacy. Future for your money. Future for your home. Like it's just endless.
That is, and I think that, as we said earlier, the secret of your future is hidden in your daily routine. So a wish doesn't have to be some lofty wish or some lofty dream that can never become a reality.
Yeah.
But first you have to have a vision. Visionaries are citizens of the future, not just residents of the present. And they have the ability of seeing 5, 10, 15, 20 years into their future. So if you can gain a clear image and picture of what that is, and then work backwards, okay, if that's where we want to be, how do we begin to reverse engineer that to the present moment? Now we have a pathway to get there.
Yes.
So these things are powerful. These are some of the questions that you should be engaging in. So sit down with your partner, have this conversation. Like as you're watching the video and the question comes, put it on pause, have your conversation, write your answers down, and then keep this video going.
Yes.
Like these are the things that your relationships are made for, to really take it to the next level.
People are always saying, I don't know what to say. We don't know how to have conversations. These are your conversation
These are
starters.
it.
Here they are, and you can replay this a million times. Matter of fact, please do, because we like the replays. And
Absolutely.
also share this, because I know some other couples who struggle to communicate, and they need these communication starters as well. So here you go. And we can't wait to hear some feedback. Like, we want to know who got into these conversations, who actually took this and did something with it, and what was the result. So make sure that you guys share that with us. You can post a message in our feed here on Facebook, or you can email us. You have the email address, or it's info@couplesacademy.org or hpettiford@gmail.com, either one. Let us know how these questions helped you guys.
And listen, guys, some of you who are in need of help, here's the phone number. Just use it. Go to the website, set up a free discovery call. But listen, we're excited. We're about to end, but we're excited about an event coming up now. As you know, we've been doing virtual events for quite some time this year due to the pandemic. And we had an actual live event that we were scheduling to do in October. But obviously, because of the pandemic, we are now converting that into a virtual event. And I want you to take a look at this. This is the Unbroken Virtual Marriage Conference, October 16th through the 18th. It is just $89 per couple. Let me tell you something. We connected with Wes and Nisha Stringfellow a year ago and were blown away by their unbelievable, incredible weekend getaway. And we said, you know what? This is one of the best events we've ever been to, have never seen this before. So we decided to partner with them. And so we are going to have an amazing virtual event, October 16th through the 18th. So the description and the link to register is below the video. It's $89. Listen, you will waste $89 on a meal that you don't even like. Why not invest that in your marriage and take your relationship to the next level? So listen, guys, we love you. We hope you got something out of today, and we will see you in the AM.
Bye.
Take care.
Can't bring us down, can't nothing bring us down. Our love is too high, bring us down, can't nothing bring us